Girl, I'm confused.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, let's chat.
Tulu!
Hello, hey guys.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Chat GPT with Maria and Amna. I'm Amna.
And I'm Maria.
And today we are going to be discussing such a fun topic. We're going to be talking about manifestation, and we're going to be sharing some of our personal anecdotes and some fun stories because we were just catching up before this episode started and sharing some little stories about our week. And we found out that we both have these fun stories about how little obstacles or challenges can teach you a bigger lesson. So we started, wondering and asking each other, like, do you think everything happens for a reason? And blah, blah, blah. So we are going to explore that today, and we're going to use chat at some point to help us kind of explore the idea and figure out how we can use chat to manifest and what our favorite techniques are and what our personal experiences are with that.
Yeah, woohoo! I'm looking forward to this episode because I know that you and I are both really big manifestors, and I know that we have also come across and learned about manifestation in different ways. I think that at the beginning of our journeys, I don't think we knew we were on the same journey until maybe like eventually we were just like, oh, I think like that too, or like, oh, I've been reading this too. So it is really cool to know that like you can have your own journey and then know that your bestie might be on that same journey, but in their own way that's meant for them.
Yeah.
And I think that also summarizes a bit about our own personal stories because I do think we have a lot of similar stories, but they have their like Amna twist to it or their Maria twist to it as well.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't you tell everyone what you were telling me earlier about your week? Because I was kind of just checking in with Maria. I was like, "How's your week been going?" Um, and yeah, I was just hearing her story. So why don't you tell us about what happened? And before you start, I just want to preface by saying she was saying that she had this thing happen. And either me or you, I was like, oh, there's a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And you were like, tell me the reason. Tell me the reason why this would happen. So yeah, share your story.
Yeah, I was very much like there was no reason for it. Like it just seems like it was a very long. If there was a reason or if there was a lesson, it just seemed very long to me. But basically on Tuesday I had finished work, and what's funny is that I was packing up my purple case laptop, so my laptop, and then I was putting that away, but then my passport had fallen out at work, and I have a new boss now when I was like acting boss, so that's another thing. But my boss was like, oh, be careful, that's your passport. Is that foreshadowing? I don't know. So I was like, oh yeah.
Always foreshadowing. That gets it
Like,
more. Yeah.
the universe is always sending you like pre-signals. But I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So basically I was on the train and I had my laptop. I had a lot of stuff in my pink purse this day. So I had like crisps / chips and like chocolates and stuff. And I was like, there's too much going on. Let me just carry my laptop case like this. And I had set it down on the train back into London Bridge. And then I had got off of the train. I was with a coworker. We were talking. We got on our second train together. And halfway through that train ride, I was like, where's my laptop? Where's my laptop? And he was like, you didn't have one with you. And I was like, no, I definitely did.
I absolutely.
And I realized that, oh my gosh, I left my laptop on the first train with my passport in it. Like, not even just my laptop, but my whole identity. I'm living in the UK. Like, without my passport, I'm a refugee at this point, which is like not. Which, I mean, with the way the states are going, like, a country, I'll happily, like, migrate to your country as refugee status. But anyway, I left my second train early, and I went back to, like, well, actually, that station, I was like, I don't have my stuff. And he was like, why would you keep your passport in your laptop case? And I was like, that doesn't matter. That's not the
Yeah.
point. Like, where's my stuff?
Yeah.
And the whole time, I had this feeling like, I was like, you know what? I feel like it's not lost. Obviously, it's lost. Like, I don't know where it is, but I can clearly be like, I left it on this train. I know the station, like, the train ends at that station, et cetera, et cetera. But I also had a feeling of like, oh, I think it's going to be okay. Like, I was like severely upset. One, because I was like, why would, like, how could I even leave my laptop? But I was like, I don't know. I feel like, let's just see. So I spent like 2 hours like running, maybe not 2 hours. It's been a long time, like running around all the different stations, like checking London Bridge, checking Charing Cross. I went to, I don't know, Waterloo East. Like, I went to all these stations, and they were all radioing each other, and they're like no one's seen it, we don't have it. And I was like, that seems really impossible, because I know that it's gotten off. I know that I got off and there were only 2 stops until the end, but I was like, I was freaking out and I was getting frustrated because they all kept sending me to other stations and no one found it. So yeah, it was about like an hour and a half or two of just like searching, and I was like crying, even though I was like, I feel like it's fine, but like right now it's not fine. I can see with my own eyes that it's not fine because I don't have my laptop and I don't have my passport and I don't know where it is. So I just went home, very upset, very moody, like went to sleep crying, was like, oh gosh, like life is just so rough. I try so hard and just look what happens. And but still, I was like, I don't know, we'll see, we'll see. The next morning, I filed a police report.
As you should. I mean, it's your passport.
Yeah, I was like, maybe someone stole it. I was like maybe someone took it from the seat. Like maybe someone
Yeah.
took it from my hand somehow because I've like been spacing out,
Yeah.
and like it's just someone took it. But yeah, and even if someone did find it, they still stole it. Like if they've not returned it to TFL, that was my thinking. So I
Yeah.
was like, the police can track. There's cameras in the train. They can track what happened to my laptop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I did that. I'm like waiting to teach my dance class. So I take a little like sad nap. I'm like, I'm sad. Let me take a nap. And then in the middle of my nap,
Yeah.
I get a call, and I just started my sad nap. And I was like, who's calling me? And it was
How
like
dare you?
like I'm trying to be sad and nap. Um, and it was the place I got my MRI. So with my laptop, along with my passport, there were like letters addressed. So this person knew my home address here. They knew my home address back in the States. Like that's on your passport, right? I don't know. But basically, I was like, they have everything. They could probably like scan me. But the clinic had called me and they were like, oh, someone's found your stuff. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, someone's found your stuff. They're saying that you had a letter from us, and so they called the number and they wanted us to tell you. I was just like freaking out. I was like,
Yeah.
and it was also like this was at like 1 or 2 p.m. So it wasn't even that, like the gap between when I lost it and when it was returned wasn't even like that long genuinely, but it felt
Yeah.
like ages, especially like the night before. And they were like, oh, it's in Grove Park, which is, I may or may not work there. Um, which I thought was really odd because that's the station I got on at. And
Mhm.
I went from Grove Park into London Bridge. So I was like, oh, how did it get back to where I like frequent? That's kind of insane. So they're
Yeah.
like, you can call the station. I called the station and they were like, the guy that found it is still here, actually, if you want to talk to him. And I was like, of course I want to talk to him. Like,
Wait. How was he still? Was it like? Was this within the same day that it all happened?
yeah, so I guess
Oh,
the guy had gone to the Grove Park and
mm.
he had done the TFL, but he had to fill out a form. So,
Oh,
and
so
I
he was
guess
still
maybe,
there filling it out.
yeah, and I think that they called while he was still there. So I called them back immediately. And yeah, he was filling out the form saying he found the property, and he was like, oh yeah, I've lost, oh no. He was like, oh yeah, I've lost stuff before. Like, I get it. And I was like, no, genuinely, thank you. He was like, yeah, you got your passport in here. That's a big thing to lose. I was like, no, I know. And he was like, yeah, I'm Australian. So I know, like, we're really nice.
Anyway,
I freaked out. I was like, you're Australian? That's insane, because that is literally the place I've been trying to like migrate to for the past like 5 years of my whole life. Like, that's really crazy. And I feel like I've been getting a few other, I feel like I always get Australian things, but like, if you guys knew my process, you know it's been very long and I'm kind of like, I give up. But I thought that was really crazy. I was like, you're from Australia? No way. And he was like, yeah, I'm a pastry chef. I was getting on the train from Charing Cross last night and I saw this little purple thing there. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then he saw it that same night that I lost it. That's why, like, no one had found it because he didn't turn it in. He kept it to turn in the next day, which
that's
is
awesome.
a bit selfish. Like, you knew I was going to be looking for it. No, I'm kidding.
The office was probably closed or something, so.
Yeah. And so he kept it with him, and then I guess he had like turned it in the next morning or the next day. And so yeah, and I thanked him a lot, told him I owed him my life. And he
No.
was like, no, it's okay. I think you's enough. And I was like, okay. And then yeah, I went and got my laptop with my passport and my all my documents, and everything was there. And that's my story.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, okay. And then when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Because I get, maybe for me, I always view these little instances as like good reminders of like the bigger thing. Like, for example, you have this goal that maybe one day you want to live in Australia and you're like constantly trying to manifest that because that's what you want. You're going to bump into all these obstacles, or you're going to get all this feedback that like, it's not going to happen, or it's not happening because you don't have it right now or whatever. But if you truly like within your heart believe like, okay, I will live in, like, I visualize myself, I see it, like I'm in Australia one day, it's maybe a longer, bigger manifestation, but these little instances are so good to like kind of mirror, where it's like, okay, you lost this thing, you're in a state of panic, but deep inside you're like, I know I'm going to find my stuff, but you're like panicking and you're getting feedback, you're not going to get it. And all these little things are happening where you're just frustrated and whatever. And in the end, once you let it go and you were just kind of like, whatever, and you took your little depression nap or whatever, it came back to you, but in a way that you might not even have imagined that it came back to you. And I just feel like when you have little instances like that, it's like, you know, you told me the story and I'm like, well, I can see the reason now. It's like you got this incredible lesson of like, I want to be frustrated, I want whatever, and everything just kind of worked out anyways. And it was in a way, like he found the letter, he randomly called this MRI clinic, like it was just so random, but in the end, everything like worked out. So for me, I feel like you can take that little instance and then like apply it to bigger things and be like, I could be stressed every time I get maybe a rejection for a visa, or I find out I don't have enough money in my account yet, or whatever. Instead, if you just continue to persist towards your goal and you just let go of how it's going to happen, it will happen in a way that you don't know. And you'll be like, oh my God, I got my manifestation. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, actually. And I also think something that you said was, okay, yeah, I was frustrated and I was sad, but I still, like, it still manifested. Everything still turned up. And I think with manifestation, people think that they need to have, like, the most perfect, like, self concept, or to always be 100% like thinking in their favor. And I think that that can sometimes be a bit toxic because we're only
Mm-hmm.
humans. And of course, we're going to feel a little bit like, oh crap, I'm going to give up. Oh crap, whatever. But as long as, like, if you have that, like, deep innate belief, no matter how you're feeling, if you believe in it and if you persist, it will still manifest, even if you are feeling a bit frustrated, because feelings are so fleeting.
Yeah.
Feelings come and go. I could feel completely happy. I was sad, and then a minute later I was happy. Like, it's about what you believe. I took my depression nap still knowing I was gonna get my laptop somehow. Didn't know how, but I knew. So Yeah, 100%. Like manifestation is all about what you believe and how you persist. And even the TFL guy on the phone, he was like, or I think I saw him in person, and he was like, "You got lucky because the MRI clinic could have also refused to even call you. Like that's happened before, to where they're like, we don't want a part in it." And I was like, is it lucky girl, lucky girl streak, or is it just that everything worked out in my favor no matter what? Because I knew that I was going to get my laptop. And even if the MRI clinic didn't want to call me, it still would have gotten back to me. And things might seem random, but the universe is like, to your eyes, it's random, but to our eyes, it's actually 100% how it's supposed to be. And that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and also if you think about all of the things that could have happened where you couldn't have got, like someone could have taken it, no one could have seen it and they could have thrown it away or something, like so many other things. But instead, it's like this person that also happened to be Australian, which is crazy, found it, kept it, and was, even if the MRI clinic didn't want to call you, he would have probably found a way to get it back to you because he was, it's like that's how I feel like sometimes the universe works through other people or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and like gets you to your manifestation. And I also 100% agree with what you said about feelings. I think that there's so much like out there that's about like make sure that you embody the feeling and make sure that you're always in the state of wish fulfilled and all this stuff. And it's like I think that state, because even if you have all your desires manifested, that doesn't mean you're just going to be in a state of bliss 24/7. Even when you have
Yeah.
your life, you're still going to have days where there's something's annoying and whatever. I think it's more about like the belief. It's literally all about like self concept and like true beliefs, like what you believe manifests, not what you feel manifest. Like, I don't think if you're having a bad day and you feel, because honestly, it's just about your beliefs, because your beliefs are what are going to lead to how you act. Like if I truly believe this thing is destined for me, the way that I act will be towards that belief. But if I believe I'm not capable of having it, your feelings are I think they're like tools. Like I think your emotions can like lead to more inspired action, but at the end of the day, they're not. You don't need to feel a certain way to act towards something, and your beliefs are what lead the way that you act, not necessarily your feelings. So I do think that I agree 100% that is a little bit of a toxic thing, and if you focus more on your beliefs and like what your true inner concepts, like your true inner beliefs are, and then that will lead, your subconscious will lead you to take actions based off of that. Like if I believe that I'm capable of, I don't know, let's say you enter a competition, what is your true belief? Are you like, I really think I could win this thing? Or is your true subconscious belief like, oh, too many people have entered, what are the chances, whatever, versus someone that's like, oh, my stuff's really good, I think it's really going to resonate, I think it's really unique. And then that belief will also lead to how you approach, like maybe you won't give it your best effort because you don't even think it matters, you don't even think you have a shot, versus someone that's like, I could win this, they're going to give it their all and then they'll probably win. So I feel like your inner belief systems and your true subconscious like thinking is what's going to lead to your actions that leads to whatever manifests in your life. And like the way that you feel, like you said, is totally fleeting.
And you could also enter that competition, have that internal dialogue of, it's mine, I'm going to win it, and still feel nervous.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Or you could
yeah.
even like, I think that sometimes, even if you don't fully, like that self doubt is a natural human thing. And I don't think manifesting everything you want is necessarily about like being this like non doubting, whatever. It's like knowing that you can feel that doubt, that you can feel that frustration, because that's human. Like you're going to have a human life experience where you're having normal human feelings, but you can have all of that and still persist towards what you believe is yours. And even when you get negative feedback, you're persisting past it. Like, I think it can be like really woo woo and spiritual if you want it to be, or it could be a super logical thought process if you want it to be, depending on what resonates deeper with you. Like, maybe some people are a little bit more logical. If you're like a more logical person, then it is obviously clear if you persist towards your goal, because you just continue to persist no matter how many times you get a no, no matter how much your 3D is you like, no, this isn't going to happen, whatever, you continue to persist, it is only obvious that you will be the person that gets the thing that you want. And if you want to be spiritual about it, then obviously when people are talking about aligning your frequency to the thing, it means that you are becoming the person that is worthy of holding that thing, whatever it is. Like if you don't believe that you deserve the thing, when you get it, it's going to be hard to receive it. I don't remember if we were having this conversation or maybe it was like someone else, but I was just talking to someone about how sometimes I think that aligning with the frequency of what you want has a lot to do with like learning how to be able to receive what you want. If you're in a state right now where you can't even possibly believe that you could have it, like whatever it is, like I'm trying to come up with an example. Let's say you want a job where you work 2 days a week, but you're making a lot of money, but you're doing whatever, and you're just like get to chill and relax, right? But you are in a state of constantly being stressed about money. You're constantly stressed about work. You feel like you have to be doing things, whatever. You're in this state where there's always a problem to be fixed, and that's what you're used to. How are you going to be able to receive a life where everything's good if you're so used to there being a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're
Yeah.
in a state, like if you're constantly like in a state where something's wrong, like there has to be something wrong, then when you do get your life and everything's perfect, your body and your brain is not going to be able to just be like, oh, everything's good, I can just chill, because you're so used to there being something wrong that you're going to create like something has to be wrong. So I think when people talk about embodying that or aligning with it, it means that right now, learn how to relax, learn how to see the good in things, learn how to be like, today's a good day and I'm actually really blessed, because then when you have this incredible life, you will be able to receive it. It's almost like with love when people say like you can't receive love if you don't like really truly love yourself, because you're always going to push it away because you don't think you're worthy of it. You don't think that it truly exists. But if you think that it truly exists and you find ways to feel it now where you're like, actually, yes, like whatever, when it's there, you can receive it fully. But it's like you're always going to push your desires away and block them without realizing, if you don't do that inner work to like really train your subconscious to exist within that and believe in that.
I think a really big part of that is learning how to regulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
I know that that's something that I'm currently working on right now, because I think a dysregulated nervous system can block manifestations. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll never get them. That's not what I'm saying. I think that it can block them in the sense that, you know what, it actually might take a bit longer, or you're right, like you might have it, but because you're still in that like dysregulated nervous system era, or you're still thinking that there's problems everywhere, you're not really like aware of it, you're not seeing it, or maybe you're close to it but you're still like, you just need that little bit more. So that's something I'm working on. Maybe that's something that we can also speak to chat about too, like
Yeah.
how to regulate your nervous system in regards to being able to manifest a bit easier, and then also having it come a bit easier as well, because I think that we take for granted like how important it is to actually just relax and to just be, and to practice that gratitude and thankfulness as well, because I think all of it goes hand in hand in order to align with what your higher self is and what they want. Because if you are in a state where you have your manifestations, most likely, like, or ideally you also shouldn't have that like nervousness and anxiety, and like you should have a little bit more of a calmer nervous system. And I also understand people isn't to, I guess, neglect people who actually are on like antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. 100% understand that, like, feeling nervous, feeling anxiety, feeling depression is also a type of mental health condition.
Mm.
This is either potentially for the people who maybe have a bit more mild anxiety, mild depression, where potentially learning how to regulate their nervous system might help. So that's also, I want to be mindful of that. But I do think that we really need to also get back to being in tune with our bodies and our mind and making sure that everything is balanced. And I think that that will help us become a better manifester.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There was something, I was going to say that I also think that what you're saying does still come back to belief, because it's like, do you, first of all, do you have a deep rooted belief that you have to struggle to get what you want? Do you have a deep rooted belief that, like, sorry, I'm getting a phone call, but, yeah, do you have like a belief that you have to struggle in order to get what you want? Do you believe that you have to like feel a certain way to get what you want? I feel like it's all about having the deep rooted belief that no matter what happens, this manifestation is mine, and it does not matter if your belief is deep enough to understanding you're worth something, even when you're feeling anxious, even when things aren't going your way, your belief is, this is part of the journey. These feelings are part of the journey to getting what I want. Like, it has to be so deep rooted, your belief in getting what you want and being worthy of what you want, that you understand that even when you're feeling bad, feeling anxious, whatever, it's all just part of it. And it's like allowing yourself to basically also build the belief that it's like either that feeling that way is part of the journey, or understanding, do I have a belief that I have to be anxious and I have to struggle in order to get what I want? It's like people that think I have to work really, really, really hard to have a job and have a lot of money. If I want a lot of money, I have to work really hard. But it's like so many of the people that have a lot of money are chilling. They are traveling all the time. They're sitting back and the money's just flowing into their account. So if you have this idea that you have to struggle to get a lot of money, you're always going to be struggling. You're going to think if you're not struggling, you're not getting it, when in reality, the people that do have that are like sitting back chilling. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you really do want to embody that, how can you like find ways in your life to, like you said, it is kind of regulating by like calming yourself down and getting to a place where you're, I really think gratitude like is what it comes down to. Like being in a state of finding how where you are right now is linked to where you want to be. Like how where you are right now, there's little ways like, okay, do you have enough money to pay your rent and like pay for your car? Then you can, instead of being like, but I don't have enough money to do this, and if I was rich, I could go do this and do that, and you're like in the state of lack, versus being like, wow, I have the perfect amount of money to pay my rent and pay my car. I'm so wealthy. I have everything I need. And then you're tapping into that like relaxed state of, oh, all my bills are taken care of. And then when you do have all that money, it's like you can actually be chill or whatever. I feel like it was hard for me to like really articulate that, but that's kind of what I was thinking about when you were saying it. It's like whatever your belief is, it has to be tapped into, like no matter what happens in your life, what can you do to maintain that belief instead of doubting or giving up on it? Because I really think the only way you don't get it is when you give up on that instead of believing further in it.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I know you have a story.
Oh, okay, then I'll be right back and then I'll tell mine. I'll be right back. 10 seconds. Oh, I need this thing.
So Amna's going to go get her food, but I have a very also similar manifestation story with losing things. I don't lose a lot of things, but for some reason it's sounding like I lose a lot of things. I could not find my driver's license for like the longest. It was probably like a week or two. And I don't drive in the UK, but we were headed to Italy in like 2 weeks or something. And I was like, you know what's so weird is that I feel and I believe, like I genuinely believe, like I've not lost my license, but I've looked everywhere and I can't find it. And I believed that it was somewhere, but not a clue. Couldn't tell you where. And I was panicking about not having my license in time. So I ordered a new driver's license. It came in time, paid a lot of money for expedited shipping, was able to do the holiday in Italy, rented a car, etc., etc. And we got back, and then I feel like it was a few months later. We went in October. I think in December or January, or maybe February. Basically, months later, I found my license, and it was in one of my coat pockets. And I swear I looked in all of my jackets. I have so many jackets, but I guess I missed this one jacket. And it didn't matter because I had already replaced my license. So now I have 2 driver's licenses. But that innate belief that it's not lost. I wouldn't have lost it outside anywhere, but just the fact that, like, I knew it was somewhere. I didn't think I would find it in time, which that was true. I didn't find it in time, but just that little, I guess that little, like, I don't know, just that belief that, okay, yeah, I don't have it, but I know it'll turn up. And if I didn't need my license for the trip, I probably would have just continued with my life, knowing that it was just going to turn up. And maybe if I was really ambitious and also took inspired action to look a bit more, I probably would have found it in time for Italy without having to pay for a new one. But I had kind of given up on looking and just decided, oh, it wasn't worth the stress to even look for it. I'll just order a new one. So I also think similar vibe of losing something but feeling like it's not lost or that you'll get it back again. But sometimes things are time dependent. Sometimes life does need to carry on, and sometimes you can't afford to wait. And in my case, I couldn't afford to wait. Or we could have just had a beautiful trip as well without driving. But the area that we were in, you did need to drive a bit. So yeah, that's also another manifestation story. I feel like a filibuster. I have so many manifestation stories, but I'm just going to tell that one because it's very in line with what we've been talking about.
What are you doing? What are you talking about? Sorry, those people just really struggle to bring things upstairs sometimes. What did I miss?
You didn't miss much. I just talked about that one time. I don't know if I told you that one time that I lost my driver's license and we were going to Italy in like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't find it.
Oh, you were like, in that case, my manifestation did not come to life.
It did come to life.
Oh,
it did come to life because I knew it wasn't lost. I knew I wouldn't find it in time, so I ordered a new license, and then I found it like 2 months ago in a coat pocket.
Oh my
So
God.
I have 2 licenses.
Yeah, I think that like taking anything too seriously or being too rigid when it comes to this stuff, it's like we are alive in this world. There's all these like forces and energies at play, and we're just discovering what works for us. Like some people, things are gonna work for them that helps them like reach a flow in their life where they're getting what they want. And for some people, it might be a little bit, they have to try different techniques. Like I don't think that you should be doing all these different things. Oh, that's what I was gonna say earlier too, was that I really think that like when you're trying so hard, you're doing all the techniques, you're da-da-da, or whatever, you're missing the point. Like when you're trying, so you're like, I'm gonna affirm 100 million times a day, I'm gonna write it down a billion times a day. It's like that's just not what it is. Like the techniques are to help you get into a state of like a mindset and a in your head where you're like subconsciously like imprinting the belief. But if you're like trying so hard to manifest what you want, you're missing the point. Because the whole point of it is that if you know for a fact something's yours, are you really going to be like desperately trying for it? Or are you going to be like, oh, so all I have to do is just keep living my life, keep pursuing the things I want, and guaranteed I'll get it? It's a different approach. It's not that you're going to just sit back and be like, okay, it's mine, it's mine. Like you still have to live your life. You still have to go towards the things you want. Like it's if you're saying you have like a dream job, you still have to look for the job and go to the interview, but your state when you're looking for the job is like, I'm looking to, oh, is this it? Is it? It's more of a fun, playful energy of like, when am I gonna, how's it gonna happen? But it's not that desperate, like, oh, I didn't get it, it's not this one. And you start to have that doubt. It's more of a calm, playful, like energy where you're just like seeing how things play out for yourself. And I really think that attracts in more opportunities because the outside world also sees your confidence and it sees your relaxed, in control energy, and it reacts to that. It's like, oh, you know what? This person wants this job and they know that whatever, I can see they're worthy of it or whatever. And you just get things. And then you're also not like worried and stressed the whole time. You're just like living your life in a more calm, relaxed state instead of being like in that desperate searching energy, which blocks the things that you want. Because it's like, why would you be so desperate and so searching and so holding on to things if you believed it was yours? You wouldn't. It's like the difference. Yeah. It's almost having an anxious attachment to life versus having a secure attachment to life. Like, you know how like in relationships you can be like avoidant or anxious or secure? I literally feel like sometimes when you're in that desperation energy of getting what you want, you're like giving that anxious attachment energy. And whenever that exists in a relationship, what happens? The other person pulls away because you're like being anxious towards them and desperate towards them. But if you're secure, you're like letting things be as they are, and you're secure in the love and the relationship, whatever, and the relationship thrives and expands because you have that trusting energy, that like you're embodying trust and you're embodying true love, which is allowing people to be outside of yourself. But when you have that anxious energy, that thing pulls away. So it's like the same thing goes into life in general. If you have that anxious energy towards the things you want, where you're trying to grasp for it and you're constantly, I need to know it's mine. Why am I not getting signs? Why am I not? Versus having a secure energy, and then you're just constantly flowing with the things you want. It's like this peaceful flow where the things that you want are just peacefully in your life versus you feeling like you have to chase them or whatever. And then when you're chasing something, the only thing it's going to do is run away from you and or move away from you and be blocked. Because in your mind, you think, I have to chase it to have it. So then you're always going to be in a state of chasing. You're never going to be in a state of just having, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like you just reminded me, I wrote a blog post on manifestation actually. It's marialachey.com. Actually, now it's now it's thespiritualcomeup.com. I changed my domain name. But I literally, with the whole secure attachment to manifesting in life, my blog post is literally talking about how we have been manifesting our whole lives before we even knew what manifestation and law of assumption and law of attraction was. Like, think about
Yeah.
how many times as a kid you wanted something, you wanted to go somewhere, or you wanted to do something when you grew up, and like that's just come to you. That's just happened naturally. Like, I remember being in high school and doing presentations for Avid and like talking about like colleges and stuff and being like, "Oh, I want to go to Australia for college."
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? Like, I went to study abroad in Australia for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like 3, 4 years later. Or like, I don't know, you want to go to Six Flags and you're like, oh, I hope I can go to Six Flags. And then like your parents get you tickets to Six Flags over the summer. Like, all of that is literally manifesting before like you knew what manifesting was, because you're 8, 10, 15. Maybe the 15-year-olds know what it is. I didn't know at 15. I didn't know at 18 even, but I feel like before I actually knew what it was, I still was doing it. And I think that there's power in that too, because it's within us. We don't have to overthink it, like you said. We don't have to be anxious about it. We don't have to sit and write for hours and hours. He loves me. He loves me. He
Yeah.
loves me.
That's me.
Like,
That's thinking of me.
the
Yeah.
job is mine. The job is mine. Like, you don't have to do any of that. Like, just
Unless that
live.
benefits you. Like, I think for some people, they need to do that to like get into that belief. If that works for you, sure. But if you're doing it because you think this is what I have to do to get what I want, then no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, 100%. And so it's just like, just know that as a kid, and our parents, your grandparents, they've been manifesting also. Manifesting isn't for the spiritual.
Yeah.
Manifesting
It's
is
just
for
always
everybody.
happening.
It's always happening. I just feel as though potentially now, like, it's becoming like the spiritual people are recognizing it a bit more, but also, like you said, just think about it logically. Like, if you want something, you might have to like go for it 100 times, but out of those 100, you're probably gonna get a yes. Like,
Yeah.
that's logic, but that's also manifestation as well, because you took inspired action towards your goal and you didn't give up on it because you believed that it was yours. So it's also just getting back to the like basics and the roots of what it is, and it's that it's always been within us.
I also don't think manifesting is just like the good stuff though. Like if you sit right now and look around at what your life is, that is your current manifestation. Like everything that you see that exists within your life right now is literally a projection of your subconscious beliefs and what you have manifested thus far. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's neutral, like whatever currently exists in your life is like what it's just the outside projection of the thoughts that you've had and what you think you're worthy of and what you whatever. So if first of all you want to understand yourself better and you're like, okay, what inner work do I have to do? Look at your life, look at the things you like, look at the things you don't like, and just recognize that whatever you have in your life right now is an outside projection of what you think you're worthy of having, what you believe is possible, and your current beliefs. And then that's how you can understand yourself more. And at the end of the day, it's like, even if you had no understanding of manifestation, you never became aware of it, we're all constantly doing that's it is just like a law, just like gravity. Like whether you acknowledge gravity, whether you know it's working, whether whatever, we're walking on the earth because of the gravity that exists, because of this law that exists. It's just literally the awareness helps you now control it. That's why like therapy is helpful for people, because sometimes you're running on these programs in your mind and you don't have the awareness of, oh, that's why I act like that. I don't want to act, I don't want to be and full of rage, but I never realized that was because this thing happened and this is how I control it. And these are the techniques that will help me no longer react in this way and slowly shift my mind. Your brain just works off a program. I follow a lot of really, really incredible like content creators or whatever that talk about like neuroscience, like actual true scientific facts about this kind of stuff. And I think that there's like different ways to label it. You can call it manifesting, you can say law of attraction, you can say law of assumption, you can say da-da. These are just ways to label these things that exist in our life. But at the end of the day, it's like something that is just occurring all the time, and you can label it in a spiritual way and talk about it with verbiage that's more spiritual or verbiage that's more scientific or whatever you need to do to like process the information and learn what techniques you need to use to get what you want, like, or to live the life that actually feels fulfilling for you. We get one life, we have limited amount of time. If you don't want to waste your life just like running like a robot off a program you don't like, these are the techniques that you can use. You can use your hypnosis, you can use your affirmations, you can use your whatever technique that you want to use that helps you tap into existing in this world and in life in a way that you actually want, rather than being like, I'm hopeless, I'm powerless. Like, I think the worst thing, like, if you're trying this stuff and it's not working, you're on the right path still, because you are playing with the energy to get what you want. The only way I think you've like failed in terms of this kind of stuff is if you are in a state of victimizing yourself and feeling like you are a victim to your life. That is the only true failure, I think, because you are just giving away your power and you are not recognizing your power that exists. There's a lot of things that are out of your control, but we also each possess so much power to create so much. Look at everything that has been created in our world. There's buildings, there's the freaking iPhone. We've created so many, there's rockets that go to space, all of these things that did not exist until someone imagined them and brought them into reality. So it's like you just have to find ways for yourself to exist within the way that you actually want, rather than being like, I'm this way and I have no power in it. It's like, no, what am I doing that has manifested the life that I live in right now, and what can I do to manifest what I actually want or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many different techniques and stuff. I can share my story. I'll make it like shorter because it's not as, but I mean, there's billions, like each person, if they really think about it, there's a billion different stories of incredible manifestation things that have happened in my life, honestly. Like the more I think, and it's just like, are you aware of it, or are you just like, oh, blah, blah, this happened, and you forget. So if you want, you can start a little thing in your phone where you write down all these things that happen that like blow your mind, forget sometimes. But I mean, I'm trying to think of which one. I think my favorite one to share that I felt like the most like in tune was when I moved from Austin to Dallas, because it was just such a random time. And I was like living in that city, so happy. I had all my friends there. I had work and all this stuff. And I remember just like randomly getting the thought just popping in my head of like, I should move back to Dallas. And it was super like a chill, like not strong anything. It just kind of popped up in my head. And I started thinking that. I was like, oh, I should move back to Dallas, let it go. And then all this stuff happened in my personal life, like with my family and stuff. And It was a little bit intense. Actually it wasn't even that intense, but I basically found out my sister was pregnant at the time, and I was like, got this even more overwhelming feeling of like, oh, my sister's pregnant for the first time. I'm so far from my family. I feel so detached from them. Like, I'm here. I just feel like I should be there. And then I remember getting this overwhelming sense of like, I want to be in Dallas. I want to live with my family. I want to be next to my sister when she has a baby, whatever. So the feeling started getting stronger and stronger. And I ended up driving from Austin to Dallas for, like basically like something had happened, and I was like, well, I want to go and like be with my sister for this. And it was even crazy because I remember with work, everything worked out. Like I was like, even if I'm scheduled for work, I don't care. I'm driving to Dallas to go be with my family tomorrow. Like that's what I want to do. I ended up not having to work, like randomly getting 2 or 3 days off work, just not being on the schedule, even though I hadn't planned it at all. And I was like, that worked out. I didn't get in trouble. On the drive, I was so passionately feeling like I'm done. Like I'm not feeling that good in Austin anymore. I feel like I need a change. I really just this is what I want. And I was like, you know what? After this trip, I'm going to go to Dallas. I'm going to visit my family. After this trip, when I come back home, like to Austin, I'm going to talk to my boss and be like, if you guys have opportunities in Dallas, I want to go. So I like made that decision before the trip. And then I go on the trip, and I'm in this hotel with my sister and my mom, and we're all giggling and we're talking about it. She was all stressed. She just like found out she was pregnant, and we were just like sharing stories and hanging out in the hotel room. Out of nowhere, I get a text from my boss, and he says, have you ever considered moving back to Dallas? Like literally, I had done nothing. I had not reached, and I literally remember showing my sister and my mom being like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. It blew my mind because I was like, all it took was me deciding that it was going to happen. I didn't take any steps towards it even. And it literally fell into my lap. And I was like, I literally was going to reach out to you. And he said, well, they're looking for someone in Dallas. They know that I've been trying to, whatever. Like, I hadn't even done anything in Austin to show that that's something I would want. If anything, I was like thriving. But mentally, I just made the decision, like, I'm ready to go back to Dallas. Literally crazy. And then I texted him and I was like, I would absolutely love to do that. And then literally, like, within the month, I had moved back to Dallas. They paid for me to move back there. And it was the right decision in my career. It led to so many other manifestations because when I was in Austin, I felt stuck in terms of career where I was like, there's people around me that are making so much more money than me. And I remember like sitting there and talking to them and being like, I didn't know you made that much money. Like, I didn't know that was possible at that point. But the more I was like seeing people like that, and I remember being like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I feel like I deserve to make that much too, And moving to Dallas helped me reach that. It helped me reach like so many other manifestations came to be. And it was just this crazy alignment, literally. And that was like, even moving to Austin felt that way for me. I won't say that moving to San Antonio felt that way for me, to be honest. It felt more of like a decision. But there were so many things within like even just every big move or every big change. It's just so crazy to me how it just comes to be. And that was like a big one where that happened. There was like a smaller instance where I remember I shared with you in the time that I was living here, I started to feel like a little bit like, I don't know, like just down, like, okay, maybe I'm not doing the right things or things aren't aligning or I don't believe in this power right now. Like, I feel like I lost that sense of belief. And I had kind of a small instance similar to yours with the train where I think you remember this, but I like lost a bunch of stuff for work. Like I work in the medical industry and they had trusted me with this box of stuff that was worth like almost $5,000. Like it was a lot of money and it was like really important medical stuff. And I had done some kind of work maybe a month prior to this incident. And I guess I had left the box at this hospital and I totally forgot about it. And a month passed and they finally texted and they were like, hey, we need to use this stuff in that box. Like, do you still have it? And I started looking for it and I could not find it anywhere. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. And I remember being like, no, like I can't have this go this way. I will be so annoyed. It's not happening. I'm going to find it. And I looked for so long. I went to that hospital a billion different times, like searching. I talked to so many people to the point where my manager called me and she was like, where are you? And I was like, I'm here. I'm looking for it. And she was like, I think it's gone. Like, I think it's gone. Like, just let it go. Like, you lost it, whatever. Like, you're not in trouble. And I remember being like, no, it's not. And the craziest thing is it's like when you're trying, like when I was searching and talking to people, whatever, it was nowhere. But I remember like I was about to give up. Like I went home and I went to the hospital, went home, went to the hospital, went home, was searching everywhere. And then I remember like being in my car the last time I was going back to the hospital and doing like being like very intentional, like calm down. This stuff exists in like this box of stuff is a physical, tangible thing. It exists somewhere. Whether it's, I started like visualizing this box of stuff. Like I was like, it's either like in a dump somewhere because someone threw it, but wherever it is, like this thing exists and I just need to like align with, like I was just envisioning it. And then I was like, when I walk into this hospital, I'm going to walk in to get my stuff. Like, that's what I'm doing. And I went and I was still searching and I was still like, basically in this state of like, it's not here. Like, there was nothing that showed me. I was like, they probably threw it away. It's been a month. Like, a month in a hospital, people are digging through stuff. It's gone, whatever. And then I like fully gave up. I was like, okay, you know what? I did everything. Like my manager called me and said it was fine, like whatever. But I was so annoyed. I was like, ugh, I just knew it was here. Like I knew I had it, like I envisioned it in my hand and I was so excited. And then as I'm walking out, there's like this little office, which I had checked in the office and no one was in there. And I was like, let me just try one last thing. Like, I don't want to fully give up. But at that point, like physically, mentally, I kind of had been like, fine, whatever. I guess it's gone. I don't care anymore. But I was like just kind of being playful at that point, like one last thing, I just want to try. And there happened to be a guy in there and I was like, hey, just by the way, I've talked to like everyone else here. Have you seen blah, blah? I started describing it and he like has the smile on his face and he's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like we found it. I know what you're talking about. And he was like, I remember like walking past this stuff and being like, oh, this might be important. Let's save it because this looks like important stuff that somebody left. So then he walks me over to this other office that's like in an office in an office. He opens the door, the lady's there, and he's like, hey, do you have that like box of stuff that we found like forever ago? Like, do you still have it? She's like, yeah, it's right there. And he turns around and like behind the door, there's this box of stuff. And I literally was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I found it. It was insane. And I remember texting my boss and calling him whatever and being like, I found it, and her being like, what the fuck? Like everyone was like, that's crazy. But I remember being like, to me, my belief was, why would someone throw that away? Why wouldn't it exist anymore? It's a box of stuff. It's like my logical brain too, like just believed it was there. And I was like, the only thing that's not happening is me aligning with it. It's not that it's gone. It's that I need to just find it. You know what I mean? Like it was just crazy, but it was like crazy how it happened. Like it wasn't like when I was searching for it. It wasn't when I was asking people. It was like when I kind of let go of it and then I just casually had a conversation with someone who happened to be like, yeah, I know where it is. Even though I talked to so many, so it really was, at the end of it, I was like, I needed that to remind myself of how this stuff works. It's like, you just have to be calm and you just have to continue to persist. And it's like, I really think that playful, lighthearted energy brings in things so much faster than when you're in that like panicked state. And I know it's hard to get out of it when you're in it, but then you just also have to recognize that whether you're panicked or whether you're calm or whether whatever, if something belongs to you, you can have it. Like it is yours. It doesn't matter, again, like we said, how you feel. But I think that once you start searching for these little instances in your life, the more you're training and wiring your brain to recognize it more, and the more you can start utilizing it to your benefit. And that's why you should follow the content creators that do like how neuroscience and manifestation go hand in hand, because a lot of this stuff is just also recognizing that everything you perceive that exists in your reality is like everything that you process into your brain. It's your brain has to process it in order for you to feel and believe in whatever. So it's always running through the programming of your brain. If the programming of your brain has certain beliefs, anything that you receive from the outside world is going to go through that filter. You know what I mean? So your perception is completely based on what you like in your mind already hold and believe. So once you shift that, you can start to perceive things differently. If I'm like, today sucks, everything sucks, the only thing my brain can see is how today sucks. Like any statement you make in your brain is now going to be like, I have to validate the statement, so I will find evidence for you of it. If you say today's the best day and like it's going to be an awesome day, your brain's like, okay, today's an awesome day, I'm going to continue to find evidence for you of that. But anyways, so yeah, just make sure that you recognize that these things are, scientifically proven. They are like, yeah, welcome back. But yeah, so that's like my personal experience. And I just, yeah, it's fun to think about how these things have happened in your life.
Yeah, I think that you touched on a lot of really good topics, and I'll I'll work backwards, I think. But yeah, confirmation bias is so real. Like if
Yeah,
you say, "Oh, everyone's so nice to me," and you go outside in the world and then you see how people are nice to you, aka returning your laptop and passport
yeah,
or opening the door for you, and you're like, "Oh wow, like you focused on those experiences. Wow, everyone is nice to me." So then it's a feedback loop. You're
exactly.
getting that feedback, so then you keep thinking it, you affirm it, and then you keep putting that energy out there into the world. So
Exactly.
yeah, everyone is nice to me, and it's proven every time I step outside, and that just reaffirms my belief, and then that belief keeps getting reaffirmed by people's actions and vice versa. So 100% real, 100% like a very much real thing that people should just take for a fact because it's science, it's
Yeah,
psychology. My bachelor's is psychology, Amna's is neuroscience, so we very much are like brain and just like the study of human behavior, etc., etc. But also you did kind of touch on, and I know that this is what we're going to talk about too, but just some tools as well. You said like you pictured yourself having the box and aligning yourself with the box and knowing that like the box was yours. Visualization is very much real.
mhm,
My boyfriend is not as spiritual as me, or maybe he's spiritual in a different sense, but he tells me that he does visualize and he
mhm,
fully believes in visualization. And he's like, I visualize playing on stages with the band, and now they're like blowing up, and Sweet Unrest is like like a big band and like all of this stuff. So it's very much like we'll get into it, but choose which technique works for you. And like you said, being in alignment as well. I would that would be interesting to talk to chat about because like what does it mean to be in alignment? Is it that you are in alignment in the sense that you're happy now because you know you'd be happy having the box in your hand? Is it trying to figure out what frequency the box is vibrating at and then aligning with that frequency?
yeah.
Like maybe we can explore a little bit more like what does it mean to actually be in alignment with what you want, because I think that maybe our listeners could like learn from that, and I could also have a refresher because I do think that I listened to frequencies last night actually, like money frequencies, wealth frequencies. I listened to I listened to frequencies last night actually. I listened to like money frequencies, wealth frequencies, I love my frequencies. So for me that's alignment is going to sleep listening to those vibrations and those frequencies, and then waking up living my life still like having those in the background, having those subliminals play, which is also another tool and technique as well.
Yeah, I think for me the most powerful one is visualization, but I just literally think it's like what works. Some people are more visual, like I'm a very visual person. For some people, they're more like if I'm doing it, like if I'm writing it down, it helps my brain really reaffirm it. Sometimes it's a mixture of things, but again, I don't think the technique you pick matters. I think it's what technique do you believe works the best, and that's what'll work the best. Although visualization is one of my favorites because it also is, I've heard so many people say this, but it's like when you whatever you visualize in your brain, like if you're daydreaming about something or if you have a dream, if you have a really vivid dream, you will feel that dream. Your brain can't tell the difference between like a daydream that's really really powerful and that evokes emotion versus a true real memory or a true real thing that's happening. If you think,
Yeah.
whenever you remember a memory and you can feel the emotion of it and you feel like you're right there, it's the same thing as if you create a new memory that's never happened, but you feel it as if it's something that happened in your life. Your brain literally will put that in the same slot as a memory that you remembered. That, and our memories are also just have you seen that thing where it's like every time you remember a memory, you're remembering the last time you remembered the memory? So it's always a skewed perception. You're never remembering the truth of anything. The truth, everyone's personal truth is completely skewed. Everyone is always, you cannot help but perceive things consistently through what you are perceiving. So when you remember, like if me and you had like a thing, we went out last night, whatever, when we're talking about it, you're remembering your version of the night that happened through your perception of the night, and my version of the night is my version of the night. And then the next time we talk about it, I'm remembering what I've chosen to remember of the night. I'm not remember. It's not like your brain is seeing an objective video of what happened that night. It's remembering, oh, I remember that night. I felt really happy when I went to the bathroom and I was giggling with some random girls I met. And then I remember I felt really annoyed because that guy stood in front of me. And then, so you're remembering these emotions that you personally had, whether, you know what I mean? So it's always that your perception over the things that are happening. So then if you want to experience something, let's say in the future, you're like, I really want to experience getting proposed to in the redwoods, me, right? So it's like, if I really want to whatever, all I have to do is sit there and go to sleep and envision how it would feel to be in the redwoods with my lover and my person. And then we're taking the hike and, ooh, I think he's going to do it right now and whatever. And I just remember it as if it's something that happened. My brain does not know the difference. It's like, girl, we just got proposed to at the redwoods and you're getting married, da da da, and you can feel it. So those visualizations really help. And there's so many really successful people. Like I know basketball players. I recently saw one where it's like pilots and stuff that will literally have meetings where they all close their eyes and visualize I think it's like military flight or pilots or something, but they close their eyes and they all visualize themselves on the mission they're about to go on before they go on it. It's practice. It's your mind practicing being there. The more you can practice being in your dream reality, to the point where someone said that sometimes if you want to manifest, like let's say being a super successful business owner, you don't have to just manifest the positive things. You can be like, what problems am I going to have? What am I going to be annoyed about? You're going to be like, ugh, I have to learn how to file my taxes now. Ugh, I have to do this, whatever. Like, you can even manifest by thinking about what are the things that I'd be annoyed about. Okay, I'm living my dream life. Today's a regular day. I'm not always super happy. Today I'm annoyed that, oh, I have a successful business. You know what's annoying about it? Oh my God, the shipment's not coming through on time. You know, like there's so many, it's just about getting your mind practicing, like truly being there. And then your reality has no choice but to be there. But yeah, we are about an hour into this and we have not used chat. I was going to see, so we can ask, I wanted to ask chat, do you think everything happens for a reason, to see what it would come up with, because I just love when you ask chat kind of open-ended questions and it doesn't know what to say. And then you were saying ask chat about the different techniques, or what did you say?
Oh yeah, I guess like how about we do, because I feel like we've touched on a lot. How about like some either creative manifestation techniques that like no one's thought of,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, maybe that, or like underground technique. Maybe like
Underground
creative,
subculture.
like
No, but
new
also
like new techniques I think would be cool, because we also, like you said, we do use chat sometimes to just Google things, but I think if we can ask it to come up with some creative ones, that'd be cool.
have you used your chat to like do anything? Because I use my chat all the time to manifest, to be honest. I use it in every like sense to help me do that. Whether it's helping me come up, like I'm like, now that we've had all these conversations about what I want out of life, help me manifest it. Help me manifest the relationship I want. What do I need to do? Who do I need to be to manifest this? What about the job that I want? What path do I need to take? And it like helps you come up with, whether it's like super logical day-to-day steps to get to where you want, or whether it's like, this is the inner work that you need to do. Sometimes you can even ask, what are the blind spots? How am I blocking my manifestations from coming in? And it can help you depending on how much you use it, but it can be very helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's ask chat.
So I am on Pinterest quite a bit for manifesting. I guess that is in a way visualization, because I was thinking, I was like, I actually don't really like close my eyes and visualize too much. I do sometimes, but I wouldn't say it's my main thing. But I like have Pinterest with like what my next steps are, and then I have like little cute beach homes that I want, and I've been looking at a lot of homes, and then I realized that my favorite ones are apparently AI generated. So I
Oh,
was like, you know what? I was like, okay, that's fine. But then I was like, let me actually go on chat and make my dream home.
yeah,
So I
generate
did
it.
that for the first time ever, because I know you've been using it consistently, but I've never like, I don't actually use it to manifest. I use it to like help me plan. But like now that it gave me like a home, and I guess the words I put in match the picture, but the
Yeah.
picture does not match.
It's pretty bad at image generation right now. Like the actual Chat GPT is pretty bad at it, but I mean it's still something. I
Yeah,
mean, like, or sorry, go ahead.
it's really cool though, and I think that, not to advertise any other AI because chat is the best, but if there's ones that are better for pictures, I think it would be cool. Or like your dream wedding dress, you know, or your dream, I don't know, outfit, your dream vacation, your dream home, your dream man, like
Thing. No, I was gonna say another thing that I think is really helpful that I love that people say that when they talk about getting into the energy, like, okay, let's say you want to move to Australia. Instead of being like, I want to move to Australia, you can go and start looking for where you're gonna live when you move to Australia.
I've
You can
done that.
I think that's super powerful. Like being like, oh, how long is my walk from this place to the place I would want to work? Or how long would my walk to the beach be? And like, where would I go shopping and go look at the grocery store you'd get your shopping from? There was a video that I watched, I forgot who was talking about it, but she was talking about how, like, if you, for example, like, there's a neighborhood you want to live in the city that you're at, and you're like, God, I really want to live there. Whatever limitations, ignore all the limitations, do your like daily walk in that neighborhood instead of in the neighborhood you live in now. Go walk around as if you're doing your afternoon walk in your neighborhood that you now live in, and you will manifest a place there. And you know, like just little things like that where it's like you're so in it that you're like doing tangible things in it. Like if you're genuinely moving to Australia tomorrow, do you have the money in your bank account to help you do that? If not, you can start your fund. This is my Australia fund. I'm saving money for my move that's coming up. Oh, here's the spot. I've already like talked to people in the spot. You could even reach out to someone and be like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Australia. Like, what would the rent be like? Could we work out this? Like literally taking actions as if the thing has already happened, whether it's in a small way or a big way. It's like the actions you're taking is you are so dead serious this thing has happened. And I think that's where, also for me, I think the biggest realization was sometimes people think you just sit back and relax, and it's like, no, the action is the biggest thing. But sometimes when you don't have the belief, you don't take the right action because you're always like holding back. You're like, oh, I want to move to Australia, but like it's not really gonna happen, so I'm actually like working more on this and da. But if you truly believe something has happened, when you take the action, it's with true belief. Like, oh, I'm literally moving, so I'm packing up my stuff, I'm taking down my stuff and putting it in boxes already because it's happening. You know what I mean? Versus if you don't truly believe it's happening, then you're kind of like still protecting your current position, you're still attached to your space. It's just not as real. But if you're real about it, you really want it, then your life's already set up for the thing, you know?
Yeah, no, actually, I think that I have just been reminded about that recently. Like, I am 100% ready for remote work right now, and it's something that I would happily do as well in Australia, no matter where the job is. But I'm like looking at in-person jobs in the UK, and I'm like, why would I do that if I know I'm moving to Australia at the end of the year? Why not get that remote job where I can move anywhere? But so that, but then also inspired action vibes. I called my mom the next morning,
Mm.
after like when I didn't have my laptop, and I was like, so right now this conversation is about how I lost my laptop last night, but I have it now, even though that's what I'm manifesting. So I was trying to make it clear to her that like the conversation we're having is that I found it even when I didn't have it, because it's
Yeah. I think
living in
something
that
that's
desire.
and especially like not necessarily, I was going to say using your friends, but not even that, but like how you speak about the things that you want. Like even for example, like a lot of people's main manifestation will be like a specific person, you know, or whatever. Like maybe you want your ex back. When you go and talk to your friends about it, are you like, ugh, like, we're never going to be together and I'm so sad? Or are you like, you know what, like, I know he misses me. Maybe we needed this time apart to be stronger. And when we're back together, like, whatever. Are you speaking about it? Because I think sometimes the way you show up with other people, and because if you, let's say you're afraid to say that because you're like, well, what if I sound dumb? What if I sound whatever? That's the way you're blocking it. You have to, with full confidence, believe in your thing to the point where I'm willing to talk about it like it's happened because that's how much I believe in it. If someone thinks that's dumb, someone thinks whatever, they can't impact that. The way you, and people actually just reflect how you show up. If you show up and you're like, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, we're back together, whatever, or you're acting like as if it's already happened, that this person's reach out to you, that you know for a fact he misses you and you're just waiting for the moment he's going to reach out to you or whatever. And that's how you approach it. Your friends are also going to see the situation that way, and they're subconsciously manifesting it for you as well. Me and my friends have like accidentally, I mean, we joke about it, but we're like, we literally manifested that for each other. Like, we sat there and talked about it, and then we, within our conversation, accidentally manifested this thing for each other, you know? Because I really think that also you can use other people's energies, because if they subconsciously believe that too, you're like building the energy for it. You know, they're like, oh, I also visualize you in this space. Like, I also visualize you doing this thing, and it's building on it. That's why it's important to make sure that you surround yourself with people that also believe in you. If there's things in your life that you feel like bring your energy down or make you feel less outside of that, like maybe that keep you tethered to an old version of yourself that you no longer resonate with, or that, you know, bring you down to where you're like, if I said this to this person, they would like not believe it. They see me in this lower position. It makes them feel comfortable to see me in this lower position. I'm not saying you have to cut people out, but make sure that everything in your life, the content that you consume, the environment that you have control over, it all reflects the things that you want, and that you're kind of slowly cutting out or blocking out the things that might, you know, limit your belief or make it harder for you to like remain in that state of belief. Like, you know, I make sure my home is filled with images that inspire me, that I have reminders on my phone. I literally have like my vision board on my phone. I don't really want to fully show it because it has like my stuff, but you know, I have like multiple affirmations that pop up that I look at. I have like reminders, and then I have like my actual vision boards from Pinterest, all that. So when I'm on my phone at work, I can just scroll and it's like another reminder, like, oh yeah, I love that image. It reminds me of what I want. I have my affirmations. Sometimes I'm bored at work and I'm just reading them, and I'm like just tapping into that energy in casual moments in life. So just having little things like that can help, you know, it can help you just stay reminded of the things that you want. Like, if you want to manifest something, maybe even just having pictures that are like, and when you scroll at them, you're not like, I'm looking at someone else's pictures. You're just like, oh, I'm scrolling through my photo gallery. And you could be looking at these beautiful locations. You could be looking and be like, oh, these are all the vacations I've been on, even if you haven't been on them yet, you know? You could plan your itinerary for the vacation. You can look at the spots you're going to stay. Like, it's just about taking these little actions that are like fully confident, full conviction. Tap into full conviction of the things that you want, and you will have them. Sorry, that was a ramble. But anyways. So we want to ask chat. I said, what are some really creative manifestation techniques that we may not have heard of yet? Love this question. It said off the beaten path manifestation techniques. What did you call it? You said not subculture. You said something else. You were like
Underground.
Underground. What's the underground manifestation like? Oh, I've done that as well. Oh, okay. So the first one says memory scripting from the future, which I think this one is actually really powerful. So you're writing a journal entry or you're doing a voice memo as if you're recalling the memory. So when you're writing the journal entry, you're writing it from like, I just got back from Italy with it says, remember that time I flew to Italy on a whim, met my dream partner, and that trip changed everything. So you're writing your journal entry as if, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. This has changed everything, blah, blah, blah. It trains your brain to perceive your desires as an already lived reality, like it's something that's already happened. So basically creating false memories. This is why it's called being delusional. It is totally delusional, but it is literally the truth of life. And if anything, I'm like, whether it's delusional or not, doesn't it make you feel better? And then if you feel better, you take better actions and you show up better in life. So who cares? Manifesting through smell. So creating a manifestation scent. So like maybe if you want to go to a bougie hotel for something, you find out what smell they use in the lobby, and yeah, or you're like always, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, smelling it will drop you into a high vibe manifestation state. It's all about creating association. This says the void method. Lie completely still, preferably right before sleep. Breathe deeply and imagine yourself in a black void. In this space, reality is malleable. Start building your next chapter from scratch, seeing and feeling it. So this is just visualization, really.
Yeah.
And there is a YouTube channel that I've like sent to so many of my friends. I've sent it to you too. It's called Rising Higher Meditation. And she has a lot of like into the vortex manifestation meditations where she basically gets you. They're pretty long. If you're new to you're new to meditation, it can be pretty hard to do those longer meditations. I love them because I play them and then I accidentally fall asleep and I wake up and it's like the fifth one and I'm like, hopefully that did something. Try not to fall asleep. Try to do it in the most powerful state for your mind where you can actually rewire it the most is right before you go to sleep, because your brain is getting into the super relaxed, super easy to like impressionable state basically. And then right when you wake up, like anytime you're just like in that kind of almost asleep but still conscious enough. So this void method is very similar to like lucid dreaming, but you're using it to create your manifestation. So it's like lucid dreaming your dream life. Third person manifestation. Speak or write about yourself in the third person. Oh my God. I saw a story where it said Marilyn Monroe did this, where she'd always be like, I hear people being like, she's so beautiful. And like, you're basically hearing people like talk about you behind your back or say stuff as you walk past them on the street. She'd always envision herself like hearing people talk about how beautiful she is, or her walking down the street and she would like visualize people being like, oh my gosh, she's such a star, like I can't believe she's here, whatever. So it's stuff like that. Speak or write about yourself. So maybe you can envision your friends talking behind your back and be like, God, I love Amna so much, like she's always such a good vibe and she inspires me with how much she's blown up with her photography or whatever. Yeah, see, like it literally said, Amna's thriving, her art has blown up, she's so magnetic, like, oh my God, I can't believe oh my God, her relationship is so inspiring to me, or whatever. So it detaches your ego and it gives your subconscious permission to see your life as already happening. It helps you because you're like seeing other people seeing you doing whatever. And then it also like, it's because sometimes don't we do that on accident? I think what's helpful about these is you realize you're already doing them in a lot of, but for the things you don't want, like, aren't sometimes if you're really anxious, don't you kind of visualize someone talking shit about you, right? Like you're like, if you walk away from an interaction and you're super anxious it went bad, what you're doing is the third person manifestation where you're saying like, God, they probably thought I was so weird, or like it was so weird, right? Like you're kind of subconsciously doing that. So instead of doing that, just it's basically training your brain to think best case. Think, I just walked away from that, and they think, God, I had so much fun. That was so much fun. I love spending time with that person. Instead of your brain thinking the worst case scenario. And the reason our brains do that is because our brains are programmed to protect us. It's survival. It's your natural survival mechanisms. It's better for your brain to live in a state of anxiety and to live in a state of survival, because that's what protects you from future pain. That's what protects you from being backstabbed from your friends. You're always in touch. You're always thinking of the worst case scenario so that when it happens, you're ready, right? But that's why we're trying to tap into outside of that, where you can actually just create better for yourself. Energetic anchors. So associate a physical movement with your manifestation, like tapping your fingers together, snapping, or putting your hand over your heart. Do it when you're in a high vibe visualization, then do it throughout the day to instantly shift into that state. So if you do your meditation and you're kind of like doing this, I guess, like you have your hand over your chest, then later during the day when you do that, just be like, it's my reminder to come back to that. I actually did that with a ring. Like I bought myself a ring in Austin. Like when I first moved to Austin, when I first started my photography account, it was like 2019 or whatever. I remember I bought myself a ring from this like company that I really like, Kin Studios or whatever. They have like really good quality, like gold, whatever. And I bought one and it has my initial on it. And I would wear it, and I was like, every time you wear this ring, every time you look at this ring, it's reminding you I'm on the path to this. I'm doing so I would like kind of charge the ring with that energy of all of these things. So every time I'm wearing it, I'm like, it represents that. Don't obviously do it too hard, because if you lose a ring or something, you're going to take it super personal. But it's just like having something that you charge specifically with that energy. Like it's the crystals, you know, if you're like, I believe a rose quartz crystal holds the energy for love, and I put it in my pocket and I believe I'm attracting more love. Is it really the crystal doing the work, or is it your beliefs doing the work? Doesn't matter. You just charge it with the energy you want, you keep it with you, and you believe that if I have it with me, that's what I'm attracting. And it works. Create a collage of images. So you basically, this is like vision board. So that's not really, you know, we said underground. Yeah, it's not really alternative. But it says print it out, keep it on your phone, charge each image by placing your hand over it, speaking life into it, speak it as it's yours, add intention and energy to the imagery. You can create a vision board and just look at it and be like, man, like whatever, but you need to make sure your vision board evokes emotion. And really, when you look at it, you're like, oh, I can't wait, right?
Yeah.
Quantum journaling. So every morning, write one sentence that feels like a quantum leap. Like, today I signed a 6-figure creative deal. I'm so in love with my husband, it scares me. So you just write like one little sentence that's like what you would be feeling. Like, oh my God, I'm so nervous about this photo shoot I have to do with Dior. I'm nervous, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That one's good. Timeline jumping with music. So creative playlists that reflect the version of you. Yeah, that one's really good actually. And you shared some music like that with me. Do you remember?
Manifestation music?
You're like, well, you had like found an artist that does like affirmation songs, kind
Oh
of, where
yeah,
like,
and you were like,
yeah.
I've had enough, because I was like playing it.
Oh, too much, like looping it. Like, let's find different ones. But yeah, just like the music that you listen to, definitely like if you listen to, say, like a lot of rap hip hop that talks down on women, but you want to like manifest this really beautiful relationship with a man that's not misogynistic, but you listen to very misogynistic music, it's gonna kind of be conflicting. So maybe if you listen to more like love songs that people like men have written about the women that they love, and like really positive, like whatever, then you're tapping into that energy. All these things really matter. It's all about your environment. These are not underground or alternative at all. These are just the basic ones. It says the mirror shift, like basically mirror work. Like you look yourself in the mirror, you hold your gaze, you say your affirmation from a knowing place. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Whatever. It's just that's just called mirror work. It's like pretty known method.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it says burn, bury, freeze. Write what you're releasing, bury or burn it, write your intention and bury it like a seed, write your limiting belief and freeze it. Stuff like that does not work for me. I just get mad. I'm like, okay, now what? Mirror work works. I like mirror work. I like vision boarding. Although I will say vision boarding doesn't hit as hard as visualization, but visualization takes more imaginative like power and like commitment to like I'm gonna sit here for 10 minutes and get into it. Journaling,
Yeah.
I think, works. Third person manifestation, I think, works really well. Like, better than. Because I really was like, we don't realize how often we do that. Everyone cares so much what everyone else thinks of them all the time. Like, so many people are constantly worrying about what your coworkers are saying about you, what your lover is like secretly saying about you, what your friends are secretly saying about you, what your family thinks of you, right? And it's like, we always assume the worst. Why? Why? Instead, just realize them saying good things about you, and whether they say them or not, think about how your relationship changes when you're like, I visualize you maybe saying shit like bad things about me. I'm always gonna hold back. I'm always gonna be like in this weird state with this person where I'm like thinking they're judging me or whatever. When in reality they're not. You're judging yourself. But then if you also are like, oh, this person loves me and they say all these good things about you, aren't you going to show up in a more loving way towards that relationship? I think we don't recognize how all of these things are less about changing your reality, and it's more about convincing yourself to show up in a way that will create that. Because the only reason you have everything or the way that things show up for you right now is because of how you're showing up. It's just a reflection of you. So all of these techniques are just trying to help you change how you show up so that things can change for you. It's not like nothing's actually changing outside of you. It's all about you. So everything you see right now is just a reflection of how you're currently showing up. If you start showing up differently, things will start happening differently. That's how it is.
Period.
Period, poo. But that's all it gave us. It didn't really give us anything super, super creative. Do you have something else?
Yeah. That's okay though. I think that it was nice, I guess, to hear chat's perspective on what they find creative. If you guys have any creative techniques that you use, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. We'll read through them and we'll reply to you, being like, that's amazing, you have to do it, or be like, that's a horrible idea. Just kidding. Just kidding. And then also, when we were speaking about the little instances that I wanted to get to angel numbers, but that might be for another day, because manifestation and angel numbers go hand in hand with me as well. But drop below in the comments your little instances as well where you've been shown by the universe that, like, yes, like manifestation is happening, yes, like your desires are here or they will be here. They'll be interesting to know what you guys have been through. And if you're just now getting into manifesting, let us know what questions you have and we can hopefully answer those too.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully, some of these insights were helpful for you guys, maybe give you a little bit of clarity. And yeah, share your stories. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our 10th episode.
Ah, 10!
Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.